Welcome to another Her Power Plays. And it's not just another Her Power Plays, Blab. We are actually in the first Her Power Plays of 2016. Woohoo! Excited because my girl Alea is in the house, and I couldn't think of anyone else. When I started reaching out to people, it was probably like August, September, when I first started reaching out to people to say, hey, I want to put out this series and really add value to women in their businesses. Oh, I guess I should say, Michelle Talbert. I'll come back to that. I really wanted to add value to women in their businesses. Alea was the first person I thought of, especially with regard to business systems and making your business run properly, efficiently, and that means more profitably. And Alea said, you know what? The beginning of the year is the best time for us to have that first out of the gate, clean slate opportunity to help people really get their businesses off the ground on a really even keel and all set to go. So my brain is not working quite yet. So I'm still in a little bit of holiday eggnog.
And it's late for you are too.
Yeah, it is. It's 9:00 already. Exactly. So welcome. And like I said, to Her Power Plays. Her Power Plays is a part of the Her Power brand, where I am Michelle Talbert, host of the Her Power Hustle podcast, where inspiration meets motivation to empower you for the perspiration associated with being a woman entrepreneur. We are every Monday. We are live. You can check us out on iTunes and Stitcher and wherever else podcasts are found. I am going to jump right in. Her Power Plays, as I said, is a weekly or bi-weekly now, a bi-weekly series where we host amazing guests to help you take your business beyond the next level. And today is no different. We have Alea Williams, and she is the self-proclaimed Swiss Army knife for small businesses. She is a small business super connector, and I love super connectors. We are kindred super connectors.
We are.
She spends her days helping other business owners organize their businesses and get the right systems in place. When she's not working with clients, she's busy building communities. Alea founded the At the Helm Women in Business Conference in 2011 and has grown it into a national community, podcast, and event series. At the Helm provides practical resources and business building opportunities to women. And you can learn more about Alea at aleawilliams.com. We have our girls Scope Scribe. Talisha is in the house. Sandy Sidhu is in the house. Katie Ma is in the house. And I will hand it over to you, Miss Alea Williams. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy to be here for the first one of the year because, like I said, when we were talking and like you mentioned, I think this is a great time to think about how you want to set yourself up for the year. You can get organized at any time. And there are days where I kind of wake up and think, oh God, that whole January thing is so arbitrary. But there really is something to turning a fresh page on the month, on the year, and just getting your mind right and everything else in place to set yourself up for a good year. So I'm happy to be here and happy to be here right now. All right. So
tell us, you're going to walk us through sort of your ideas about how we can get ourselves all set. You can feel free. I will be looking at questions and moderating questions. You can let me know if you want to pause and take questions throughout or wait to take questions at the end. We can kind of do it organically. You're definitely a pro at this, so we'll just kind of let this flow. But please take it away.
Sounds good. So I want to just go over 3 keys to helping you get organized in your business for this year. And, really, this can apply to personal life too. It's everything. And I just want to put out there first, some of these may sound simple. It may feel like you've done it before. But if you're here live or catching the replay, there's a reason you tuned in. So take it all in and really think about what you can apply. And with every talk I do and every class I teach, I always say, some of this stuff can be time consuming. It may not always be easy. So just take little steps at a time. figure out, what applies to you most, what you think is going to be most beneficial for you. Start there and then fold other things in as you go. So do not feel pressure to feel like you've got to do all this stuff at once. So I always have to put that out there before I dive in and go all like resource and system crazy. So the first thing that you need to do to get your business organized this year is to plan. And I don't want you to just plan in your head. I want you to write your plan down. Write the plan down. There are all kinds of stats and studies and things like that that have been done saying that people who write down their goals are much more likely to actually accomplish them. And if you want to accomplish your goals and work your plan and do the things you say you want to do and you need to do, you need to have a plan in place and you need to have that plan written down. Ultimately, I don't care how you do it, but I highly suggest you have one place, one system to keep everything organized. I want this to not be the year that you've got Post-its over here and 3 notebooks over there and this over there and that over there. Michelle, I'm going to check on you. So I would suggest 1 or at most 2 places. And I'll tell you why I say 2. I am a digital and analog person. So I have a planner that I write things in, but I also have a master Google Calendar that has major milestones, things that are due, appointments, things like that. So my plan is in paper form and digital form. So that's what I would encourage to you. I have a planner because, I got to plug the planner. I have a planner that's geared toward business owners. It's called The Next 12 Months. And you can check it out. There's a link. It's aleahwilliams.com/planner. And it's got stuff to help you track your marketing and whatnot. But there are a lot of great planners on the market. And my planner is not necessarily for everyone. If you are a planner person or need a paper system to help yourself keep track of your plan, I also wrote a post on the best planners for small business owners. So there's plenty of options for you to choose from on the market that are great. And the key with any system is finding something that works for you. Otherwise, you're not going to want to use it. So, as much as I would love for you to love my planner, if something else speaks to you, get that by all means, because you need something that's going to work best for you. So aleahwilliams.com/planner to check out my planner in particular, or aleahwilliams.com/bestplanners to check out some other great options that are on the market. And I think a question came in, and I'm cool with answering questions as we go.
I knew you would be. 2 things. One, the question did come in, so I think you can see it right there down there in that seat below me.
Yes.
The other thing is that because Aleah is such an awesome systems person, she gave me the links ahead of time. So you'll see that Scope Scribe and I are dropping these links if you're watching in replay or watching live, you can get the links that Aleah is saying right in the comments. So yes, we do have a question from Scope Scribe, which is, would you recommend whiteboards and or vision boards?
It's been a really long time since I did a vision board, and that's like my own weird hang up. But I think vision boards are great if you want to do one. So if you want to do it on your own or go to a vision board party or throw your own vision board party, awesome, go for it. I'm a big fan of whiteboards. You can't see mine now because I'm using my desktop computer. But I do my whiteboard the cheap way, which is getting clear contact paper from Big Lots, or you can order it on Amazon. I actually saw some white contact paper at the 99-cent store the other day, and I stick that on the wall because whiteboards, like a whiteboard as large as I would like it, is pretty expensive, and so are those whiteboard tiles and papers. So contact paper is a really cheap and easy alternative. It cleans off with water or Windex and a paper towel, and once it stops erasing, you just rip it off and put another piece down, and the whole roll is $2. So you really can't beat that. So I love whiteboards for the brainstorming and the big stuff. And I actually did that going into this year. I wrote down the different categories my stuff fell into. At the Helm, my consulting business, my pop culture podcast, I wrote down all the big categories and brainstormed that way. But for day-to-day, I would suggest some other place to keep your plans, because you're going to be erasing the board. You're going to be switching things around. What you could do is every time you have a big brainstorm or a big like kind of brain dump, you can take a picture of the whiteboard so you can always reference it. And I'll do that with clients when we, like on those rare times that clients and I have in-person meetings, we'll get all our notes down and then we'll take a picture of them so we still have them for reference. So I'm a big fan of like both of those methods, and I do use the whiteboard for my own brainstorming. Sound good? But yeah, so and I almost, like for me, the whiteboard comes before I write down the solid plan. So my like plan of what I'm going to do and when still goes in the planner or the calendar or whatever other system. So it's almost like the whiteboard is almost like an above and beyond kind of bonus thing. Awesome. So yes, write down your plans, check out the planners. I love that, Snow. That's so great. I love all the cool stuff I'm like seeing on Blab now. Check out the best planners post. And also, if you have a planner or a system for planning already, you can also check out my planning series, and that's at aleahwilliams.com/planning-series. And you'll find a few articles there. There's the best posts, best planners post, but also tips about maximizing your to-do list, how to be more productive, how to get the most out of your planner. Because it's one thing to buy the planner, buy the notebook. I'm sure we've all done that at some point, right? We've got the half-empty journals, the half-used planners. So, step one is acquiring the tool, and step two is actually using it. So if you go to that planning series page, there's some tips on how to make the most out of your planner and get things done and tweak your to-do list and stuff like that. So that's aleahwilliams.com/planning-series. So first thing, plan, get it all down. Any other questions about planning before I move on? And you can ask more later too, but I just thought I'd check. All right. So second thing is have systems in place for sure. And your plan, your project stuff, that's one system we've already touched on. There are many, many, many systems out there. And especially if you are just getting started with organizing your business or just getting started with systems, trying to systemize everything at once, again, will be very overwhelming. So I'm going to tell you what I think are the 5 essential systems every small business needs. See what stands out to you, what you need to work on first, and then go from there and work them in. So what I think are the 5 essential systems every small business needs, first and foremost, is a contact management system to keep track of relationships, opportunities, prospects, and help you keep track of follow-up. Especially if you are in a service-based business, everything is about the relationships and the money is in the follow-up. So again, no more post-it notes, like in your brain reminders to follow up with people. Get yourself a contact management system, and there are a lot of awesome ones out there. So contact management system. Second is a calendar. So on top of your plan, your calendar has all your appointments, the major deadlines. I like to put financial stuff in there. The schedule for my podcast. We have several podcasters on here. Michelle has a podcast. Sandy has a podcast. I don't know if the rest of you have podcasts or not, but you can, especially with Google Calendar, you can manage multiple calendars. And if you use a scheduling tool, your scheduling tool plugs into your calendar and it just makes your life easier. Third one, financial systems. Something to keep track of the money coming into your business, out of your business, something to make invoicing an easy process for you. There is no need for you to be doing invoices in Excel. Please stop that. There are some good tools out there that will make it easy for you and help you keep on track of what's outstanding, when things are due, and all of that. And there are a lot of great paid systems out there, but even if you're at the place where you're looking for a free tool, there are free invoicing tools out there as well. So Google is your friend. So contact management, calendar, financial systems. Fourth is projects and tasks, and that can tie into the planning thing that we talked about too. Your planning, your planner, your Google Calendar could be where you keep track of your projects. I also have a separate project management tool that has every milestone and itty bitty piece of a project in it. I prefer Asana. And Asana is free, so that's awesome. But there are a lot of great things out there. There's Basecamp. There's Trello, which is free. And if you are a visual person, you may like Trello. And I will say I used Trello years ago, but it didn't really do much for me now. And then last week I was working on my editorial calendar for this year, and I actually created a Trello board for my editorial calendar. So I dropped in all of my blog post ideas, and then I organized them into what months I want to share those particular posts. I attached images. So I'm actually finding that Trello is really great for organizing editorial and editing, organizing the marketing and content for my stuff. So lots of great project management tools out there. Many of them are free. And that's just, again, to keep you from trying to remember everything in your brain and remember when everything is due, especially if you're managing your own projects and client projects on top of it. It's a lot to remember. And many of you have families, you have partners, you have kids, you have other stuff going on. Like, stop trying to remember it all. Do yourself a favor and leverage the technology that is out there, much of it for free, to free yourself up to focus on what's most important. And then last but not least is marketing systems. And this is going to vary based on what you need in your business at a certain point. The tool I always recommend, if you heard me talk about systems before, you heard me recommend it, is a book called Get Clients Now. Awesome book. I think it's a must-have for every service-based business owner. Another essential tool that you need to have is an email marketing tool. If you are sending promotional or marketing messages, you should not be sending them directly from your email inbox. Most likely you are breaking spam laws, which is like a whole other blab in and of itself. But again, there are enough awesome tools out there that are free. There are definitely some expensive paid ones, but there are free ones out there. So you have no excuse not to have an email marketing system. And even though I think that CRMs are the greatest thing on earth and one of the most important systems you can have, I know that most of you do not think CRMs are as sexy as I do, but many of you are thinking about list building and contacts. So I will say, if you walk away today, the one thing that you should make sure you have at the very least is an email marketing system, and build your list before you need it. Sandy Sadhu, who's watching right now, we go back and forth, and we have this like list building challenge that we're doing, and we're always trying to up our game and grow our lists and, create better content and more content for people to opt into our lists. We're always growing, and you need to work on your list before you need it, because when you're ready to launch, when you have a new program, whatever the case might be, you want to have people there already that you can tell. So don't wait until launch day to start building your list. Start building your list now, even if you don't think that you need it. And then, of course, there are social media marketing tools. There's, Hootsuite, Buffer, Sprout Social, Edgar. So, there's all kinds of things you can dive into, but think about what you're trying to focus on with your marketing right now, and then get the systems to match. So social media is huge for you and you need a better way to manage it, then yes, maybe now is the time to look into a third-party tool. But if you're comfortable managing your social right now, then don't worry about the social media marketing tool right now. Think about something else. Fold things in as you need them and as you can handle them, but don't, overwhelm yourself. So take a deep breath. The 5 essential systems you need to get in place: contact management, CRM, calendar and scheduling, financial, projects and tasks, and marketing. And I have a post that lists those 5 systems, as well as some suggested options for you. Some of them I've mentioned, but it's aleahwilliams.com/5, the number 5 systems. So there's a post there on those 5 essential systems that you can check out. Any questions about those 5 essential systems before I talk about the third way to get organized for the year? I'll pause for a second. And thank you for sharing the links. So yeah, that post lists all 5 and some suggestions for you to check out. I also have a course, and I will put it in here. If I spelled code right, that would help.
I'm going to have to give a plug here as well, because Alea, when I launched Her Power Platform, which is my platform building course that we launched back in October, and Alea did a guest lecture on contact management, a specific contact management software program that we both use actually. And it was an incredible, I mean, her level of depth and the real value that you can get from using a contact management program is just incredible. So definitely be sure to join us the next Her Power platform, and also check out Alea's 5 Systems article as well.
Yeah. And so what I'm just putting in a code right there. If you are on my website, I have a video course on the 5 systems. I think the post is enough to get you started. But if you want the course and you want a little bit more in depth, that code Her Power will get you $10 off the course, and you can find it at aleawilliams.com/shop. It just goes into more depth about each one of those systems, and gives you more tools in each area for you to explore. So that's there for you guys if you need it. But I think the blog post alone will help get you started. So figure out which system is going to be the biggest for you this year and work with that and grow from there.
Thank you. Woohoo! We love discounts, sister.
Gotta do it for the sisters. So yes, take advantage of that if you are interested. So again, back to the keys: plan, get your systems in place, and the third thing is delegate. And you may have had, who knows what kind of response you had. Like when you talk about delegation, people either get really excited or anxious or, really tense, curious. Delegating is a big deal for entrepreneurs, especially solo entrepreneurs, because we are so used to wearing many hats. And even if you aren't a solopreneur, but you have a small team, more than likely people are wearing more than one hat. And, there may not be a time where you are literally only working on one thing, but in order to keep you focused on your genius and doing the stuff that's going to make you money this year and beyond, you have got to get as much stuff off of your plate as possible so that you can do that. And, I am not perfect. There are times I've been able to delegate a lot, and because of budget or time or not being able to find the right person, I've had to take more on myself. And delegation, you don't have to delegate the same way or in the same amount at all times. You can do it seasonally. You can delegate when you're working on a particular project. I delegate a lot and hire help when I'm working on big events. I don't try to pretend that I am a web designer. So if there's something beyond my Canva skill level, I will hire someone to create the logo or do whatever. I'm good with WordPress, but I can't custom code. So if there's something that I need, someone to do on my website, rather than spending my time trying to learn that right now in the midst of everything, I outsource, I delegate. And that allows me to focus on writing the content because I am a good writer, or putting out another podcast episode, or doing my marketing, or going to a networking event, something that only I can do, or something that I am better at. So my encouragement to you this year is to delegate as much as you can, as soon as you can. And there are so many things you can delegate. We could go on and on and on about all the things that you can delegate. But since some of those things may not apply to you, I have a little homework assignment for you. In your notebook, on a sheet of paper, Evernote, wherever you like to jot things down, a Google Doc, whatever. Don't care, doesn't matter. Keep a list for the next 3 to 5 days of just everything that you're doing. You don't have to write down every email, but every kind of thing you're doing. You're responding to emails, you're making website updates, you're making graphics for your blog posts, you're writing social media. Write down all the things you're doing. And the reason I say 3 to 5 days is that you may not do everything every day, but 5 days will probably give you a good sampling of all the different things that you're involved in. So, by looking at what you do, you'll probably be surprised. You do a lot more than you realize or than you give credit to yourself for. And then the next step from there is looking at that list and making notes in whatever way works for you. I like to kind of circle things and think, okay, this is something that's not in my genius and I'm just doing it to do it. Like I can definitely hire someone else to do this. So that may be a method that works for you, or you may kind of create a wish list of, this is what I can outsource immediately, but by June, let's say, I want to make sure that I've stopped doing X. Like I've stopped scheduling my social media posts and I have a VA scheduling it, or whatever works for you. Or I'm going to stop struggling with creating my blog post images and I'm going to hire someone, a designer, someone on Upwork, someone on Fiverr, whatever you choose to do. I'm going to hire someone to create my blog post images. But it starts with being aware of what you're doing and how you're spending your time before you can say, okay, this is what I'm going to pass on. And I encourage you to do this activity even if delegating and outsourcing is already on your mind, because the flip side of that I see a lot is I will have clients who will rush to hire a VA or an in-person assistant. They'll rush to hire an intern, and they won't know what to do with this person. Like they're not prepared. And then they've got this person and the person has no work, or they're struggling to kind of piece things together for this person to do because they weren't prepared. So even if you're thinking about hiring someone because like it's very clear to you that you need the help, start that list and be very clear about what tasks you're going to be giving to that person, so that when they are working for you, time is not being wasted by either you or them. I've had clients do the same thing with me, actually. Existing clients, when we start together, they may have a very clear idea of the project, and then down the road, they may schedule an appointment with me, and I'll set aside the time, or if they're in LA, I'll go see them in person, and then I'll show up and I'll be like, what are we working on today? And they're like, I'm going to find something. And, I love that my clients like having me around. I mean, one of the things my clients say to me is like, when I'm around, I help them get more things done. And I love that. I love to be helpful. I love to help people get things done. That's my thing. But you are wasting your time and your money if, I've blocked off time for you, or I've come out to see you and you don't know what we're going to work on. Or if you've told your assistant that you're paying them for 10 hours a week and you really only have 5 hours a week of work for them. Don't make it a lose-lose for both of you. Set everybody involved up in the right way. And by having a list and knowing what you can delegate, it allows you to be more realistic about how much help you need. In my dream world, I need someone 10 to 20 hours a week, but realistically, I don't, right? Like right now, just with the flow of my business, the main thing I want to get off my plate is someone to just do graphics and schedule some social media posts related to my blog stuff. That is not, for the size of business I have, that is not a 10-hour-a-week job. 5 hours a week, possibly I can find a little task here then to complete the 5. But start with that list, write down the things that you're doing, and identify what you can outsource either now or down the road. And start there. And start with the biggest stuff. Numbers, if you're not a numbers person, numbers and bookkeeping, that's like a big thing to outsource. And especially now, I have made the mistake of trying to hook up with like tax people closer to April. And by then they are busy. So if numbers are on your list, you should be looking for a tax person, a bookkeeper now, because they are getting busy. This is their busy time of year. And if you want to set yourself up for the future, hit them up after April so you can get on a better footing and be all set for next year, right? So think about what you need and think about what can be outsourced now and what you can do down the road. But it all starts with that list and being clear on what you're doing and what you don't have to do. And trust me, you do not have to do it all. And I guess the caveat to that is, no, you can delegate and you should delegate, but there are possibly things that you'll see on that list that should not be done by anyone. Like I was just saying, like there are things that we really should not be doing or not be spending our time on. And I think Michelle has probably helped me with this. And I know Sandy has, where sometimes I'll be like, I want to do this thing, or I want to get that plug in, or I want to try this. And it's like, no, is that what you said you were going to do yesterday? Is this on your plan? Like, I don't know about the circles you all are in, but in the ones that Sandy and I are in, everybody's like talking about ConvertKit, and everybody wants to switch to ConvertKit, and it looks great, I will admit. And with the opt-ins I'm creating and stuff, ConvertKit would be awesome. But like I mentioned before, Sandy and I are working on this list building thing, and the point right now is to build the list, not to tweak the technology and get myself distracted and focused on technology and not growing the list. When the list is growing and more on autopilot, I can always go back and flip the technology. It's funny, I can't read all the comments as they're going, but I do see Sandy at the bottom saying shiny tools. And I love tools and I love systems. So, you know, that's my thing. I got to figure it out. I got to know how it works. I got to try it. But the goal right now is, for me, is not to find a new email marketing tool. I have one and it works just fine. My goal right now is to grow my list. So switching to a new tool is not on my list to do. It is not on an assistance list to do. Nobody should be doing it right now. So be honest with yourself. Make that list of things you're doing, figure out what can be delegated, and figure out what needs to be completely crossed off and not done at all. And, you know, going back to those 5 systems, if you have a project management tool, if you have a plan, just because you're not doing something right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So plug it into your calendar or your project management tool with a reminder for 3 months from now or 6 months from now, whatever. Like, I should not be looking at ConvertKit any earlier than February 1st, and February 1st may still be too early, right? So I'm going to put that, you know, in a file for later with a reminder so that I don't let it go, but I don't have to focus my energy on it now. So that delegation list is going to serve multiple purposes for you. It's going to show you all the stuff you're doing that you may not be acknowledging and giving yourself credit for. It's also going to help you figure out what to delegate to someone else and what you should not be doing at all. So blah, 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 talking a lot. Recapping, the 3 keys are plan, get your systems in place, and delegate. And when it comes to planning, which is the first part, write down your plan and have a tool that you're keeping your plan in, a planner, a notebook, a project management tool, Evernote, something. Have a place for your plan and keep everything in one spot as much as possible. Or again, if you're like me, you have your paper planner and your Google Calendar. And so the links for that are aleahwilliams.com/planners and aleahwilliams.com/planner and aleahwilliams.com/bestplanners and aleahwilliams.com/planning-series for tips on how to use your planner, tweak your to-do list, that kind of stuff. So that's part 1, plan. Second part, get your systems in place. And there are many, but the 5 essentials you should have this year are your CRM, your calendars and scheduling tools, your financial systems, your projects and tasks, and your marketing tools. And that post is aleahwilliams.com/5systems. And if you're interested in the course, there's the Her Power code for $10 off. And then the third thing is delegate. And your homework in the delegating section is to get that list started. So from now till the end of the week, just start writing down the various things that you're doing and identify what you can delegate to someone else now, what you can delegate to someone else later, and what just doesn't need to be done now by anyone. And that's it. So those are the 3 keys. Those are all the little sub points. You've got your homework. Any other questions? And there's so much chat. When this is over, I'm gonna go back.
You're gonna have to go back.
That I missed.
I think Sandy brought up a good point. You semi-mentioned it with regard to our relationship, and that's accountability. Mm-hmm. Accountability. What are your suggestions for getting someone to keep you on track with all of this? Because for the uninitiated, this sounds like a lot. You know, it sounds like I need to begin keeping records in a way that maybe I have never done before, in addition to already trying to stay on top of my business. So what are your recommendations for accountability to stay on track when you're basically creating a bunch of new habits?
Yeah, you know, I do not claim perfection at all. I am very flawed, and so, even I fall down with some of the stuff that we've talked about here, but accountability really keeps me on track. And I'll tell you how to find some accountability, but my advice about accountability is you have got to find people that are as motivated about their success as you are. Because if you choose an accountability partner who doesn't check in with you, isn't as invested as you, you know what I'm saying. I can't speak anymore. If they're not as invested in you as you are in them, or if they're not even doing what they need to do for themselves, if they're slacking off, they're not a good accountability partner for you. They can't push you. Throughout the year, I've done accountability stuff with Sandy, with you, Michelle, with Courtney Herring, who did one of her power plays last year. And what I love about all three of you is you're motivated. You understand accountability. There are things that you are working on for yourselves and you have clear goals. So when you are trying to find an accountability partner, look for someone who has clear goals or someone who's willing to do the work to clarify their goals. It is ideal if you are at a similar stage in business, but that may not be a necessity. Courtney is much newer to business, for example, than Michelle and I are, but that doesn't mean she's any less skilled or knowledgeable or motivated, because she's still like an expert at what she does. So she's newer in launching her ventures, but she's quick on the copy. She's great on the support. She is there for you. So, the business age may or may not matter, but the motivation and the dedication does. And I will say, like, in our online space, a great place is, your Facebook groups, Sister Power Hustlers, Sandy has Thrive Hive, I have At the Helm. Like, we all have amazing groups. We're all in other groups, in meetups that you are in classes that you are in. Look for people there who are just as motivated. And a lot of people, fortunately, this is something that's getting talked about more. So people are starting to throw out there on forums, hey, I'm looking for an accountability partner. So don't be afraid to do that too. Look for those posts and also make your own. And I am sure that you will get a response. And do it however it works for you. Some people want to work with, like, some photographers may want to work with other photographers. Some may feel like that's competition, so I'm going to work with people in a different industry. Some may do it on like frequency. Like, I'm looking for someone who can check in once a week. I'm looking for someone who can check in once a month. So figure out like what you want out of an accountability partner or group, and allow that to shape, your search or who you reply to. And so all the ones I've had in recent years are people that I've found online. So I think Facebook groups are a great source of information and resources. You can join mastermind groups. There are a variety of mastermind groups, both free and paid. And I did like a slightly controversial episode of my podcast when it launched, with a guy who was like hardcore into paid masterminds. And that was because he ran a paid mastermind. So, I mean, obviously he has some investment there, but if you have the right people, a free mastermind can work. But I would suggest that people have some sort of buy-in. And I love what one of my friends was doing. I don't know if she ended up launching it, but she told me about the idea. Like, she was going to approach people, and it wasn't necessarily going to be a paid mastermind, but everyone had to put money into a community pot. And then I forget what happens. Like, if you missed a certain number of meetings, or, something happened, like you would lose your money. And then like she had this whole thing worked out. And I liked it because it wasn't necessarily a paid mastermind, but you had skin in the game. So there are free masterminds, there are paid masterminds, there are ones that are led by facilitators, ones that are peer led. So think about what works for you, but I highly recommend masterminds as well.
Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone want to jump into a seat? Ask Alea any questions about systems and your business, and sort of, the different 5 categories and the 3 keys as well that she talked about.
Do they limit how far you can scroll up? I'm trying to see if I
You know what? I can't scroll at all. I have to like change
Interesting.
my screen size. I have to put the chat on the bottom, like make my screen, minimize my screen in a way that puts it
Mm.
on the bottom that lets me scroll. Otherwise, I can't scroll comments.
Okay, well, if I just putting out there, I can't scroll. Oh, I'm glad you like the information. Thank you.
Yeah,
If I missed a question or something, please feel free to type in the chat again because I can't scroll, or hop in a seat, as Michelle said. Happy to answer anything. I know I gave you a lot of information. And as I said in the beginning, this is not to overwhelm you. So choose, I gave you 3 keys and steps within the keys, but think about what speaks to you most. Are you in a planning stage right now? Are you in a system stage right now? Or are you in a delegate stage? Where are you? And then focus on that and just kind of follow the suggestions I gave you in that area. And that's the other reason I threw those links out there, because you may not be able to absorb it all right now. It's almost 7 o'clock where I am, almost 10 o'clock where Michelle is, where Sandy is. So I'm not expecting you to retain this and dream about it. And remember it tomorrow morning. So I want you to have those links to reference for when you're ready. But don't sit on it too long either. Like, get your plans down, get your systems in place, have an idea of what you want to do so that you can continue with the forward momentum. I feel like there's a lot of really good energy right now in 2016. And maybe I'm biased because I was ready for 2015 to end. I was like, enough of this year, let's move on to something new. But we're 5 days in right now. The energy feels good to me. Now is a great time to get your stuff in line and really work on growing your business this year. So yeah, if there are any other questions, let me know. If not, that is fine too. I'm gonna put my contact page if you guys have any questions later. Feel free to contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, turn you on to any resources. I love talking systems and planning and all of that stuff. So on my website, you can find all my social media links. Contact me if you need any specific resource referrals or anything like that. And most of you, I don't know who's going to watch the replay, so I'll say it anyway. I know most of you watching live are part of great communities, but my encouragement to everyone listening is take advantage of the communities that you are in for support, for resources, for all that stuff. Again, Michelle, Sandy, and I all have communities. I'm in all of them, and they're all great, and they all offer something different, and they're all full of amazing people, particularly women. Actually, with all three of our groups, they all happen to be women's groups, and there are amazing people in all of them, and they are actually some of my favorite Facebook groups to be in. So take advantage of the groups you're in. Yeah, Sandy's in them too. So look for accountability partners, ask for feedback. In the At the Helm community, we do virtual co-working days, and we did some toward the end of the year where we called it like the New Year's hustle. Like, okay, what do we want to push through? Just for some accountability and chat, and like, okay, I'm not working in a vacuum. But see if people want to virtually co-work with you. Sandy will do sprints. I'm not sure if we did any sprints, Michelle, but I know Sandy and I will do like work sprints. Like, okay, we're going to sprint for the next couple of hours. What are you going to work on? Let's check in. You may not always need a long-term accountability partner. It could just be for the day or for a few hours. But all of our groups are fantastic resources for connections. They're full of smart, generous women who are knowledgeable about their fields of expertise, and they're open with resources. So if you haven't fully taken advantage of the communities you're in, like, this is the year, this is the time to do it, to really leverage those groups and communities to build your network and really like push yourself to grow this year. If you are serious about growing a business and becoming more profitable and successful. So that's all I've got, unless Michelle has anything else, or I can't hear you. Are we having that blab audio thing? Because I can't hear you, Michelle. I don't know if anybody else can, but I can't hear you. Let's see. I think I covered everything, and I hate that I can't scroll. And no, Michelle, I can't hear you. Oh, now I can scroll. I see the suggestion of a live streaming app as an accountability tool and a way to chronicle your business journey. That's pretty awesome. I like that idea. Michelle's refreshing herself. I love this because I thought when the host left, it would reset the thing. So I'm glad that it doesn't. Yes, so a live streaming app as an accountability tool. That's cool. I kind of documented the growth of my planner and my course on Periscope. So I can totally see doing that as well. I think I can hear you, Michelle, now.
I think so too. I can't scroll though, but what I was saying was thank you so much, Alea. Sandy, please drop the links, and Alea, drop the link to your Facebook group too. Drop the link to both of your Facebook groups in the comments so people can join them, check them out. I've also listed the herpowerhustle.com/Facebook if you'd like to join Sister Power Hustlers if you're watching live or in the replay. And they are all amazing communities and different communities, like Alea said, but you can get really great information, much like this Her Power Plays with Alea. And I would say definitely head over to Alea's website so you can connect with her on social media as well. I think that's really important that we all stay connected. I think Brandy Butler joined. It looks like Brandy joined.
I know.
Oh, Shanti Ray. Sorry. See, that's what happens when you see a little tiny picture.
A little tiny picture. Yes. Because Brandy also has that picture with like the pop of color.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know?
I love it.
And I love that fresh look. I just never think of it.
Well, I like your picture with the turquoise. So we're good. Yes. And Scope is making it snow. I told her she needs to let's make it rain for 2016.
How are you making it snow? Yeah, make it rain. But how are you making it snow?
So if anyone does anyone have any questions at all? Oh, you can type /snow in the comments.
Sandy's in Montreal, so she's like,
she
no,
said,
no thanks.
It's /beach. I love it.
Michelle's got the beach. Michelle's good.
We do, but we only have like 60 degrees. We have like 65 degrees. It's freezing here. It's 65. You see I have on a sweatshirt.
Sandy loves when I joke about the temperature here. I'm like, it's so cold.
It's so chilly.
Like I'm in my house with a beanie on, and I'm sure it's like 60 degrees, and it's like 75 in my house, but whatever.
Exactly. Thank you all
Thank you, Katie.
Much. Again, this is Her Power Plays. We are a bi-weekly series of amazing information shared. You can look back through some of our prior blabs as well. And we look forward to having a great Her Power Plays in 2 weeks. And we might do something in the interim weeks where I come on and we have some really good conversation. But right now, our next guest will be Nichelle, who will be joining us to really, she's a startup founder and has an amazing story to tell and information to share about launching your startup, and looking forward to having her here to really delve into that with us. So Alea, thank you so much for such incredible information. You guys can head over to aleawilliams.com. Everything is there. Links are in all of the comments. And again, don't forget the Her Power code to save $10 to get some more juicy info from Alea as well. And we'll be back. Thank you so much, Alea. Head over to herpowerhustle.com/Facebook if you want to check out Sister Power Hustlers group, and of course the Her Power Hustle podcast. And Alea, tell folks about your podcast as well. Yeah.
Well,
any of them, or this just
any of them.
Your site.
So the one that's currently going is called 18 to 49. It's a pop culture podcast. Episodes drop every Wednesday. So tomorrow morning we'll have a new episode, our first of 2016. I also have one called At the Helm, which is on hiatus now, but it is coming back. So if you guys want to go to aleawilliams.com and sign up for my mailing list, you'll be the first to know when it's back. But it was a blast doing it, and then we went on hiatus, and we're coming back with a new format this year. So I'm very excited about bringing that back, and thank you for asking me about it.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much. ScopeScribe just got your message. Thank you. You rock. Kylie Carr, I will be reaching out to you as well. She rocks. Everyone, thank you for joining. Shanti, it's nice to meet you. Look forward to seeing you again on future Scopes. No, Blabs. I don't know where I am anymore.
Who can keep track these days anyway?
I really can't. But you can reach me at Her Power Hustle everywhere. I'll see you guys next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Bye.
Bye.